If you're in the first car, you get somebody to tap on the window behind me and say, Carol, I need the medic. Second or third cars back, you have a yellow strip on the ceiling. Press and hold it, and it sends a medical alert into the cab, so don't get sick. We want you healthy. Stand up, though, and look to the right of the vehicle at a cheetah and a dog. It's where the behaviorists are going, to that compound. In front of it, probably, speaking about other species. But why we have a dog and a cheetah together is because they were both hand-raised together. And that becomes them both as friendships. Definitely are warranted when you're hand-raised. Any species, you know. The dog is a calming influence, so that's a good thing. We've had 160 cheetah births in our history.
Giraffe. Wow.
And of course our mission to get the best minds scientifically together, animal care and conservation, will help us indeed one day complete our vision to end extinction. And having people like you on board as heroes for wildlife helping us achieve these successes. Thank you. If you like birds, we got some babies here below us that hatched this summer. Gray in color, they'll be light pink like the adults soon enough. These are greater flamingos. The light pink color helps them blend in to the saltwater marshes of Africa. So, of course, color makes a difference as to where your habitat lies. And we appreciate the uniqueness of each species and their needs for diverse habitat, which this 1,800 acres that we've leased from San Diego as of 1969 gives us. So let's go enjoy South Africa a few minutes from here. Depending on your awareness of your surroundings, you might see things your neighbor can't. So that's always a delight when you find some California mule deer that live in the hills around us, or any other wildlife that exists out here. So enjoy the road trip until we get out to the main field enclosure that we call South Africa in a short minute. From all over the world to enhance the lives of these species with their skill and expertise in behavior and genetics and nutrition, as do we. We come from all over the world, so that's the beauty of this place, because we all collaborate together just as we see the animals do, because we place them geographically, hundreds of animals together without cages between each species, give you a similar approach to what you would otherwise see in the wild. The island paradise is home to our great white pelicans from the Danube Delta, and assuredly sometimes early in the morning you'll see them go dipping in the man-made lagoon. But knowing that water is a premium out here, for 47 years of our existence we've recycled the pond water through our own filtration plant to enhance the benefit for plants and animals as needed. So conservation's been our main theme for 47 years. And we're still doing a good job of acquiring more knowledge and more ways to do just that. The arid area around us gives us pause because this is home as it once was 50 years ago in San Diego. So plant indigenous vegetation in the area if you transplanted to San Diego County, as most of us have, and appreciating the fact that keeping this environment and its ecosystem the way it should be will definitely be a benefit to the next generation with limited water.
See it?
And not all of the animals will we talk about or even see, because we got 3,100 of them. So if you look to the right, you might catch a glimpse of the Grevy zebra and the other 7 species with bachelors in each. The Grevy zebra, however, aren't bachelors. That's the breeding herd, and there are only about 2,500 left in the wild, so they are critically endangered. Others over the hill, farther than where we can go on this 2.5-mile road bed, are there too. So it brings to mind the fact that we have lots of animals out here, but the way to talk about them is to see them first. So with that, we'll stop at the marshland on the right and try our hand at finding any birds in here. Because there are some, actually 7 species. And for the first time today, I actually see 3 species so far. Standing when we fully stop is perfectly acceptable to get a view. So with that in mind, the black and white sacred ibis heading towards the East African crowned crane, and behind the rocks, the Ruppel's vultures visible. So where it is a treat to be able to see some, they haven't been visible all morning. And with the cloud cover that is occurring, maybe more will make an appearance. But if there's no cloud cover and it's triple digits, you can bet they're going to be in the shade, because that's how they survive. And that one says, I'm going to go with my buddies. Thank you very much. I survived getting my feet. So.
Look. Look, Denzel. Look. Yeah. Yeah. What's that Lion King one? The Lion King have more? Yeah. Look. Yeah. Lion King.
That will benefit us. We need healthy plants to provide us oxygen. The more plants on the planet, the better. You can't hear a thing? Zero. All right, I'm going to test the volume again. If you can hear me clearly, raise your hand. Well, that was thanks to this gentleman behind me. I appreciate that immensely. Has it been silent the entire bloody time? Oh, good. Perfect. Because, you know, if that occurred, I'd be really bummed. Because there are times when this 11-year-old vehicle acts up. And I don't know how long your car lasts, but this is a Ford. Anyway, these are Red River hogs, and I thank you, sir, very much for alerting me to that fact. Nothing worse than talking to yourself, you know what I mean? Yeah. As they disappear now, perfect. You guys never make an appearance. This is the first time I've even seen them. And they really are impressive because their antics are delightful. Covering themselves in mud. Looks like he's going in the mud wallow. Cool. Go on in, fella. Show us how you do it. He says, that's it? Just the feet? Dude, follow him. Go in there. Show us how you properly do mud. He says, nope. Not done over here. He could be there all day looking for the perfect thing to eat underground, because that's what they do. Look at the ears, little tufts. It's kind of like whiskers on a cat. You can tell how dense the foliage is. What a character. That nose does a circular motion underground, so he's kind of showing it to you. But when he starts rooting the under stuff up and eating it, that's even more fun. Because that's what they do to help aerate the soil, clean out the dead vegetation that's underground, and help the plant thrive. Anybody else home here? Oh, a dove. Cool. See, the more you stay in one location, the animals come by you, and you get really appreciative. Okay, we gotta go. And always let me know, bang on this window if you can't hear me, okay? Because this really bites when it does.
What are those?
And of course, when you look to the left as we stop next,
Aren't those rivers?
those sable antelope are pretty something. They're not even in the shade. I'm always surprised when they aren't, because most animals will be. But I guess they figure it's okay. No shade right now. The darker the coat, the more indicative it is of the male. So the others, not as large, not as dark, definitely the younger males and females. But all of them have something in common. It's the way they sit. Facing different directions prevents predators from sneaking up on them. Can't fool them that way. And they stick together. So family's everything to us. That's the way they do it. The babies, if you notice, are placed in the middle of that alert circle for added protection. Cool beans. I'm really not saying anything, so you're not missing anything. And I'll say something when I get close to the giraffe in the next minute. They'll be up ahead of us on our left. And when you look at them, how they withstand heat is just to stay still. Interesting behavior on their part. They don't sit down, they stand. And if you notice on any of them, and I've been watching their behaviors, they'll take the two front legs and put them really close together. I don't know if that's advantageous for the fact that maybe the heat dissipates through the body that way. I don't know. It's fascinating, as are they. Maasai, they are known as, and they have the dark tight knit pattern that ends at the knees and goes solid from there on down. So it's easy to distinguish them from any other giraffe. But a stately look they do have. And other animals tend to hang around them, whether it's the ostrich or the eland or the gemsbok or anybody, because, well, they can see for 2 miles. That helps. And they're like the neighborhood watch. Their elevated height gives them that advantage. So it really is an impressive collection that shows you how they survive together and the needs each bring to the table, so to speak, help the others survive. So it really is as simple as that. Plus they eat something different than the other animals. They will eat the trees, not the grass, necessarily. Only the leaves, thank you very much, and their preference is acacia. That's their favorite tree. Now, of course, the winds are picking up right now, so please secure items that might otherwise blow overboard because we're asked not to stop to retrieve them. Next stop, eland, ostrich on the left, and Somali wild ass in a moment on the right. Showing a little attitude, I think. So let's zip over to this little section and then show you these on the right first. I don't want to watch the attitude on the part of one standing up there in the feeder trough being ready, the other one kicking the other one. Don't see them. Watch that move of the back legs, and note too that when the ears are back, you better stand clear. Their behaviors right now are obvious. In the heat, they're in a mood. Sometimes there is one that takes precedent at the feeder trough, telling the other guy to wait, because there is a form of, well, pecking order, if you will. In fact, some of the females are far more influential than others, and if they have a baby girl, she's automatically influential. So, isn't that special? But what's not special is the fact that in Somalia's civil war, they used them as a food source. We don't even know if 2 dozen are left. So we're not going to be putting them back in the wild anytime soon. Though we have returned 40 species to the wild, you got to have the land be there and a safe place for them all. They are gorgeous, and those kicking opportunities we seldom get to see. So you got an advantage there. Beautiful. Now on the left, tree trimming is the giraffe's specialty. One of our giraffes definitely looking up at the one tree out there in the middle, trying to figure out how to get to it, but it's trimmed higher than you can reach, isn't it? Getting a drink out of the pool in the middle. One of our antelope, 1,200 pounds, known as an eland. And then the ostriches, if they're still around. Tremendous bird. They can go 28 miles an hour. And they have the wings that keep them straight up, like little rudders. But they are fun to watch. And as we climb this next hill, we head towards the top where we'll be able to stop and not on hills to see others. So enjoy what you can see on your own that your neighbor can't, and we'll go for what we can all see in just a moment. Thumbs up, we're still good? Yeah? Alrighty, good. Now if you look down at the very, very bottom, you may see some woodland dwellers known as roan antelope. Hopefully we get a better view of them from the other side when we get there. But underneath the tree I'm approaching here on our left is a baby with the Ugandan cob, female and male, beside it. That is adorable. Too bad I can't stop on hills. Seldom do you see that next to you. In fact, we're the only ones to have them in the U.S., Ugandan cob. But ask not to stop on hills, we don't. And the rest of the herd is, I believe, closest to us on our left as we approach them now. And each numbered at birth, you can even see the tag on their ear indicating their lineage as well as their individual number. Trust me, the winds will be fierce up here, so secure those hats. They're the ones that go overboard the most. Now we get to stop on this bridge and look for some on the right, representing a forest. Tough to see, maybe, but no doubt behind us on the right about 5 o'clock, the little tan ones are visible, called red-fronted gazelle. And just beyond the island in the middle, in that delta, stands one of our Zambezi lechwe. The flyby on the part of a visiting egret was nice as well. And the hills of San Diego all around us, blanketing us beautifully, give us an impressive moment. The view, though, on our left is spectacular because you got the San Pasqual Valley down there, an agricultural preserve that hopefully never changes, and a sighting up ahead of us about 12 o'clock on our left of one of our aquatic antelope, the Situnga. Hardly ever do you see them. And whenever you look at the environment around us, realizing this is what San Diego looked like 100 years ago, what's the next 100 years going to look like? Hopefully it's going to contain plants, because ours, basically, around us, well, we're second to only Hawaii in having the most endangered plants now. So we do know the value of home. Protecting it is our business too. So with 800 acres around us devoted to the wildlife, you sometimes get lucky enough to see the mule deer, further out are bobcats, coyotes, golden eagles, and more. Appreciating home, no matter where you call home, it's as simple as keeping that vegetation indigenous to the area going for those that need it, especially the animals that reside in the area. Milkweed is a plant that isn't here too much anymore. And where the monarch butterflies used to come through here on their migration, they don't. So if you plant milkweed, maybe they'll come back. We hope. They need the land to be there and the plants that sustain them. And since conservation's been our main theme, we've been at it for 47 years, and we know that we can't get out to Africa every day, but by being here, you're supporting those who do. And our 150 scientists that work here at the Institute and elsewhere definitely enhance the world that we live in and the knowledge shared. So we appreciate and applaud your participation here today, which then helps our world be a better place, adding to the knowledge shared with others, so it can be a beautiful planet for a long, long time. And with 140 conservation projects we're involved in, I'm sure you're involved in many of them too. Our website has it all, sandiegozooglobal.org, informationally at least. To show you what giraffe love to eat, you just have to look at the tree closest to our left-hand side of the vehicle as I pass it right now. This is acacia, the favorite thing for giraffe to eat, including the thorns. Not many animals want to eat the thorns. So it's nice that some animals will eat certain bits of vegetation, others won't, and then share the vegetation amongst each other. Very simple philosophy. Everybody eats something different. We get it. None of us eat the same thing, nor do we even like the same thing. So what's similar to them is definitely similar to us, including protection of family, which is everything. And to the herd structure, Cape buffalo do it well, because if you mess with one, the whole herd comes after you. And lions will get that hint real fast. Cape buffalo, though, are one of the few large prey animals to take on a lion and win. Just that simply, the mob attack. They, however, withstand a lot of heat because they have very thin skin, like a hippo. We've had 8 years of drought. Some plants out here do not necessitate a lot of water, but with the bit of rain that we have had, encouraged by it, we also know that the Santa Ana winds blow in and are fierce, the scrub brush dries quickly, and of course protecting the environment is definitely a must with all that we need to do in the next 5 months of triple-digit temperatures out here.
Sí. Sí.
Sí. Yeah.
Now if you look to the right, this is North Africa. And those big horns belong to the Ankole cattle. Hardly ever do I see them. They like the other side of the hill more often than not. Those horns measure 6 foot from tip to tip, about the average width of this vehicle as a comparison. But to the people, that's their status. So it's like money in the bank if you have them, and a lot of them. Therefore, they don't eat them. However, they are predecessors to the Texas longhorn. The Ankole cattle are joined by some of the Barbary red deer native to the Atlas Mountains between Tunisia and Algeria. And as we then look to the left into South Africa, walking away from us easily visible, the circle identifies Ellipsan waterbuck to each other in tall grasses near the waterways where they dwell. An easy visual to cue in on for safety and sense of presence. These are called a follow me mark on the Ellipsan waterbuck. So there are many ways to survive, whether it's markings, color, behaviors, it all helps. And there are scientists that study all these factors and share it with those in their communities. If we can get all 8 billion people on this planet currently to feel the same way, caring about plants and animals, then we're in good stead for the next generation. And hand it to that generation in better stead than we found it. Purposely looking left at the African red coral tree, under which some of the South African oryx sit for shade, and knowing that our horticulture department has propagated 1.75 million specimens of plants so that we can learn more about each as to what they eat, those animals, and utilize it properly for our benefit too. Some plants prevent parasites in the animals, so what else can they do for us? All those are sources of study and curiosity. But if you're curious about Africa and you get on the website wildwatchkenya.org, you'll be fascinated because you can be a citizen researcher helping the scientists there count the number of animals in front of the lenses. Because we want to know what the head count is for the animals in Kenya right now. We've heard 40% of the giraffe are gone that were there 10 years ago, and much, much more is needed to secure the numbers. So in our website, SanDiegoZooGlobal.org, you'll find wildwatchkenya.org, and a fascinating addition and a complement to technology. East Africa awaits us as we enter here on the right. Now, you may not be able to go to Africa today, but you can sometime take a photo caravan like the people are in the back of that truck, wave to our driver, and that will be a tremendous comparison if you go out there and be that close to our Ugandan giraffe. And if you like cheetahs, look to the left at the dog, maybe his buddy the cheetah, one more time, or go over there later because you can walk 5 minutes from here when you get back to the station to that area called the Africa Loop Trail. And sometimes you'll see things you least expect. That is what you will. Right now, as you see the giraffe get a drink out of the water, spread those front legs out, get that head down. Takes a lot of blood to run through the neck when they do, so they don't leave it down long. It's a precarious pose. He's not top heavy. He won't go forward, but on the downhill he might. Looks good to me. So yeah, you were watching, huh? Yeah. We learn a lot by observing. The beautiful eyelashes like nobody's business. I'm always jealous of. The neck has 7 vertebrae in it like ours. One's the length of your forearm. And if you look carefully, they got 5 horns. One's under the forehead, the other 2 behind the main tube. But they don't get as big as the main tube. Ugandan giraffe also have 2 other names, Baringo or Rothschild's giraffe, and that one's thinking of eating a tree. You've done a good job on that one, despite the fencing around the tree trunk to deter them from eating their shade. So you're looking at us, I know, it's you. Up the hill is a tree, straight up from the giraffe that right now houses a couple of rhinos relaxing. Can you see them up there up the hill? 3 o'clock? Raise your hand if you can see those 2. Perfect. Now, need I say more? Look for other surprises. And keep trying, dude.
What are they doing?
And the keepers are checking on that. Hello. To a rhino. Holy smoke. The baby's about 120 pounds at birth. Jesus. We're happy we have one that was born July 28th. Yay.